Okay, what we have here is a standard market diagram. Free market, no intervention from the government. We, this is how we set up an initial market diagram. Price along the side here, quantity along the side here. We've got supply here, demand here. Okay, this is supply from firms, this is demand from consumers. What does that indicate? It indicates a market equilibrium in the middle where those two lines meet. Okay, that shows us the quantity of production from supply. It also shows us the number of people that are willing and able to buy that product at that price. That's our quantity equilibrium. We've also got our price equilibrium that is set by the price mechanism. Okay, that is the price that is received by consumers. That's the price that's received by suppliers. That is the supplier's revenue. It also shows us the price that consumers pay. That is the consumer spending. And we can identify that using this box here. Price times quantity. So this is without any intervention. So what are we going to look at now? We're going to look at what happens when a government applies a subsidy. Okay, a subsidy is a small quantity of money that is provided to suppliers per unit of output. Okay, it is to incentivize the production of a good. So think about merit goods, think about fruits and vegetables, think about education, think about renewable energy sources. It's designed to help industries that the government wants to promote. Okay, so it does two things. Okay, we're going to look at the effects of a subsidy now. So let's add a subsidy here. What we're trying to do, we're trying to reduce the cost of production to a supplier. So we add a subsidy line there, plus subsidy. Sometimes it says S minus subsidy, because obviously we're taking away some of the costs for those suppliers. As long as you recognize that it's the supply line with the subsidy included. So what does that do? What does that do? The first thing it does is it creates a new equilibrium. The new equilibrium is here, okay, where those two lines now cross. So let's draw in the new equilibrium price and the new equilibrium quantity. So we can see what actually happens to the level of production in that industry. It increases. Okay, so producers will now produce more quantity of that good. What happens to the price? Well, consumers now pay a lower price. This encourages more consumers to buy the product. Okay, so that's the first two major concepts. Those are the microeconomic effects of adding a subsidy. So, what does that mean in terms of the government? Well, the government actually have got to pay quite a significant amount of money to the suppliers. So, if this is the equilibrium we're working at, let's add the subsidy there. It goes up to this point on the diagram, and then we go all the way across. Okay? Now, this is the price that the producer receives per unit. Now, let's take a look at this. These shaded areas here, this one, and this one, this represents the entire size of the subsidy that the government pays. So let's look at that. That is a significant investment by the government in this industry. Okay, so that is the amount of money that the government has to pay to suppliers in order to encourage them to provide more of this product. It is not a good long-term solution for a government, because ultimately it means that there's an opportunity cost to take into account. The money that the government spends on this subsidy cannot be spent elsewhere in the public sector. So consider the opportunity cost in terms of infrastructure, in terms of healthcare, in terms of education, or any other public services that the government is hoping to provide. So, subsidies are a great way of encouraging the consumption of merit goods. but it is an expensive short-term measure. Okay, get that into your head.